have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, radical personal transformation, whole life prosperity and success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be, wherever you are in the world when you hit that play button. So glad you did. You have found the Genesis Frequency Podcast, and I am Dr. Cause, in effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna, coming at you with another episode here, and made a decision to really take a deep dive into one of the places that really helped me launch and get started. Although, I started my business as far as coaching entrepreneurs and moving people out of the job, just over broke the job thing, right? And into the wonderful world of being an entrepreneur. I started the company Success Ocean back in, was it 2013? And it's just evolved and grown and developed over the years. And really a big shift, a quantum leap was made, and a big paradigm shift was made in my life when I spoke with Bob Proctor at length and joined his organization and made the decision to become a certified Proctor Gallagher consultant. And so I'm going to retouch some of those principles from Bob today. And, I'm still an LMI franchisee, Leadership Management International, taking all of this and all that I have grown into and become and evolved into, and the wisdom from decades and decades of studied, and my doctorate in holistic life coaching and all that stuff is all combined into uh, me, uh, a product and products and programs to help you, your organization, your company, your ministry live the life you would love to live the vision, live the dream. So we explore here the power of your mind, your spirit, your vision, because it is from there that you create the life you would love to live. So I'm so grateful you're here. So we're going to begin this special series today. Don't know quite how long it will last, but it is indeed inspired by the legendary Bob Proctor, a mentor, a teacher, a friend whose teachings have impacted millions and millions of people and whose legacy continues to transform lives across the globe. Now, as a certified Proctor Gallagher consultant or coach, whatever you want to call it, and someone who had the profound privilege of being part of the last group that trained live and in person with Bob himself in Toronto before his passing, I can tell you firsthand, this material works. It's not just motivational fluff, okay? It's universal law. It's spiritual principle, and when you work it, when you live it, when you apply it and take action, everything changes. It must change. So whether you're working on you, and you should, because that's where it starts, or you want to build something within your organization, within your company, within your ministry, and make a culture shift there, let's have a conversation. So, first things first, let's dive into part one of what I'm calling unlocking infinite potential. And we'll focus on what I believe is the absolute foundation of all transformation and goal achievement. And that's understanding who you really are, what you really are, and harnessing the power of your paradigm, shifting your paradigm, and installing a new program a new success program. All right. One of Bob's books, and I give this away too. I give away the PDF digital version of You Were Born Rich. But in there, one of Bob's most famous quotes is, "You were born rich." Not in material things, but rich in potential, rich in possibility, rich in spirit. I first read that, just makes me feel good. Now, to really know that, to really, really know that, and you can't deny that. Rich in potential, rich in possibility, rich in spirit. We all are. You are. If there's one idea Bob wanted everyone to grasp, it's this. We already have everything we need. We've just been conditioned not to see it. You were not born to live a life struggle or live a life of struggle. You were not created to play small or to settle. You were born with infinite potential, endowed with faculties, mental faculties like imagination, will, reason, perception, memory, and intuition. And a couple of those are superpowers because there's spiritual powers as well, like imagination and will. And the rest of your spiritual toolbox, faith, strength, wisdom, love, agape love, power, understanding, order, and understanding the power of zeal and excitement and enthusiasm and elimination, knowing what to release and what to reinforce, and the power of life itself. All tools at your disposal. But the problem is, most people never learn how to use them, how to tap into them in an efficient and effective way. Instead, we've been trained or programmed, you could say, to live from the outside in. I talk about this in nearly every show. We look at our results and we let them dictate what we believe we can do. And there's no way to live, trust me. We kick around in that puddle, look at the results, and boy, we try to create something from what we don't want. It's a recipe for disaster. Bob taught us to flip the script. He said, don't let your current results dictate your thinking. Let your thinking dictate your results. So that's the shift. You have to build a new model. That's the beginning of mastery. Get out of the energy of your results. I have plenty and plenty of episodes on this. So let's look at the power of paradigms that I alluded to earlier. There really is power in paradigms, and we want to. The paradigms can have power and influence in a positive way or a negative way. So we want to identify the negative paradigms, the negative programming that have no basis in truth, and eliminate those. First identifying them, then eliminating them by replacing them with something else. So if you studied with Bob or with me, you know this word well, right? Paradigm. Paradigm is a mental program. A paradigm is really a multitude of habits that have almost exclusive control of our habitual behavior. And almost all of our behavior, it's habitual. It's really a set of beliefs, habits, and the conditioned behaviors that run, get this, 95% of your life. Think about that. 95% of your life, you're on autopilot run by these paradigms. Most of what you do, what you think, what you feel, and attract is happening on autopilot. And here's the kicker. Most paradigms were formed before you were even aware. You weren't aware that these things were forming. You inherited them. You were this open vessel when you were younger, this open vessel of subconscious mind, and everything was poured into there from the outside world. Programming. It was downloaded. You inherited it. Oh boy. You inherited it, you downloaded it, it came from your environment, you soaked it all in. Paradigms about money, about success, about health, about relationships, even your own worth. Bob would say a paradigm is like a psychic program that's controlling you. And until you change it, nothing changes. That's why we can read all the books, we can go to all the workshops, watch all the videos, go with this coach, go with that consultant, get all fired up, and still fall back into the same patterns. It's not because we're lazy or broken. It's because we haven't shifted the paradigm. The paradigm, the programming is always in control. We will always fall back into it unless we are able to identify it, remove it by replacing it in the most efficient and effective way that is known. Reach out to me. We can do this. All right. I want you to know that awareness and just being aware of your paradigms is really the beginning of change. Because if you're not aware of something, how can you move to affect change? How do we change a paradigm? So Bob taught us that it starts with awareness. Again, you can't change what you don't understand. You have to observe your habitual patterns without judgment, with curiosity and honesty. I take my clients through exercises that identifies productive activity, non-productive activity. We do this over and over again on a daily basis. We do it in all the programs that I facilitate. We take a look at, I love this with LMI, we do effective personal productivity, and this is the work that we do. So we get a handle on priority management and utilizing our time in the most efficient and effective way. You got to do this. You can't just listen to a podcast and think you're going to get it done. Ask yourself, what am I habitually thinking about money? How do I react when I face uncertainty? Where am I playing small out of fear or doubt? And we can go deeper and deeper and deeper with these questions. And that's what I do when you reach out to me and we connect and just have a conversation. Because we have to we have to be aware that these paradigms are controlling our behavior, and we have to identify them. We have to flush them out, and we have to get to work on replacing them with new programs. It's like you got Windows 95 still, really? 30 years later, still trying to run Windows 95. Everything clogs up, everything jams. You're getting the same old results all the time. You got to upgrade, right? So these questions and other questions that I ask shine a light on the paradigm that's running your show. Once you're aware, you're you're moving yourself to a place of, okay, I have a choice, right? I'm aware now. I notice that. I see it. Yes, I see the habitual behavior. I see the programming and the belief behind it. And then, so once we're there, you can begin to intentionally plant new ideas into the subconscious mind. That controlling station, that's where the programming lives. And through spaced repetition, emotional involvement, you got to have the feeling. And this is all the frequency and the energy, the vibrational alignment that I talk about so often. And then we have to move into aligned action. I'm always talking about application and action. So we're getting involved in spaced repetition, which really means we're identifying what it is we want to move in. We're writing out our affirmative statements and repeating them over and over and over again. We're studying this material, we're playing it over and over again so that we have the retention. We get involved emotionally with the idea, with the dream, with the ideal, the goal, and then we take action. We participate in productive activity that is in alignment with the vision. And in this way, you can reprogram the paradigm. There's power here. It's not like paradigms are a bad thing, but they're in control. So we have to intentionally replace them with something that's in alignment with what we want to experience in our life. Bob often quoted Earl Nightingale, and Earl said, "We become what we think about." And that's what we're doing here. We are building what we want to experience in our lives. We are building out the dominant thought that we will hold about what it looks like and what it feels like to step into the energy of the goal achieved, the vision realized. And Bob went further. He said, it's not enough to know this. You have to live it. You have to impress it deeply and repeatedly on the subconscious mind. That's when change happens. And my friends, I'm telling you, I have used this over and over and over in my life. Bob used to say, you're going to need a telescope to see back, look back to where you came from once you do these things and apply these changes in your life. And I used to just laugh at that. But now it's really true because I have experienced these many, many, many quantum leaps in my life. All right, next point, you must have a clear goal. Plenty of episodes on this. Crystallize your thinking. We talk about it in our Leadership Management International programs. We talk about it in Thinking into Results. You got to have a goal, a worthy goal, a worthy ideal, right? One of Bob's greatest teaching is the power of a worthy goal, a C-type goal. He would always call it a C-type goal. And here's the reason. And here's a really brief definition. I got plenty of podcasts on this as well. A-type goals are things you already know how to do. Small stuff. You already know how to do it. You just want to do it again. No biggie. B-type goals are things you think you can do. Maybe you didn't do it before, but you think you can do it. You know, you follow the recipe. I think I can make a cake, right? C-type goals are your dreams, big, bold, beautiful desires that stretch you and scare you at the same time. Bob said, if your goal doesn't scare you and excite you at the same time, it is not big enough. So I take my clients and everyone I work with through an exercise to identify what that really is, because so many times I've had conversations with people. I said, what's the dream? What do you really want? Because they've also conditioned themselves to believe that it's not possible for themselves. And that to me is the most absurd thing I have run into, that they have forgotten what they really want because they believe in things that just aren't true. My time has passed me by. You know, I'm not smart enough. They bought into their own paradigms. And then they started to believe in them, and nothing could be further from the truth. And it's so important. And you know what? It's so important for leadership. We talk a lot about leadership development on this show, and that's what I do, leadership development. It starts with personal leadership, and then we move into organizational leadership, corporate leadership, small business leadership, spiritual leadership, ministry leadership. And why is this so important? Because leaders aren't called to do what's easy. Leaders are called to grow, to imagine what hasn't yet been done and move boldly toward it. Your C-type goal isn't just about achievement. It's not. It's not about achievement. Well, it's about achievement, but not just about that. It's about transformation. It's the thing that requires you to become more of who you're really stepping into the truth of what you are. Rob reminded us, goals are not for getting, goals are for growing, right? It's what we're becoming along the way, what we're unfolding and evolving into. So what's your C-type goal? Reach out to me. Let's go through these exercises. I always tell people, don't think about what you think is possible for you. Don't think about the how. I really want this, but I don't know how I do it. Don't think about that. The how is none of your business at this point, right? What excites you? What energizes you? What fires you up? What gets the hair on your arm standing? What gives you those goosebumps? So, what is it? Are you waking up with it in mind every morning? Are you feeding it with faith and vision? Or are you letting the old paradigm pull you back into comfort and mediocrity? Telling you there's no growth in your comfort zone. Everything you want is outside your comfort zone. So we have to know that next point, decision is the key. And here's another truth that Bob hammered home. Successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly, if ever. And decision is the missing link for most people. They don't decide, which is deciding by default, letting the universe decide for you. Most people, we hesitate, we procrastinate, always waiting for the perfect time, perfect plan, everything to be just right. We're always getting ready to get ready to get ready, right? But Bob said it's not about the conditions, it's about the decision. When you decide, the universe moves. And it does. And here's where your how comes from. The universe moves in to support you. And he meant it. Decision is a spiritual power. It's a creative act. When you decide, you cut off the other options and you send a clear signal to your subconscious and to the universe. And from that decision, you begin to act, not based on your current results, but based on the vision, based on the person you are becoming. And in this place, you're practicing gratitude all the time, moving into the energy of the wish fulfilled. Right? That's that episode I just did on the wisdom of Wayne Dyer. So I want to make another point here, and that's leadership is influence, and influence is energy. Think about that a little bit. Leadership is influence, and influence is energy. So let's bring all this into leadership. Bob Proctor was a leader because he lived what he taught. He radiated belief. He operated at a high frequency. He didn't just talk about energy, he embodied. Your personal frequency determines your results, he said. You can't attract wealth, success, or opportunities from a vibration of fear or light. This is why leaders must work on themselves first. The most powerful thing you can do to lead others is to lead yourself. That's why from effective personal productivity, we move everyone into effective personal leadership. We do that, or we can do thinking into results. We can move you through all these things I talked about. Raise your frequency. Start your day in gratitude. Speak your vision aloud. Study the laws. Apply the principles. And surround yourself with people who reflect the future you're creating, not the past you're leaving. Bob would say environment is more important than heredity. That applies to thought as well. What you listen to, watch, and speak every day matters. You can't think one thing, hold the thought, hold the vision in the morning for a few minutes, and then move into speaking something that's counterproductive, counterintuitive. We do it all the time. We think, oh, I have this great vision. Then we speak the opposite, right? I do this a lot, and I used to do it a lot with my own weight release. I would think, yes, I envision myself as my ideal weight of, right, and hold the picture, and then I would move through my day. Oh, here I am. Here's Mr. Huge, and I would speak it, and I would, you know what? You're either reinforcing your old paradigm or you're building the new one, and you have to move into it completely, completely. All right. So what do you do now? You act. You don't wait until you, quote unquote, feel ready. You don't wait until the stars align. You decide. Decide now. You choose to become the leader of your life, the captain of your soul. You write out your goal. You imprint your desire. You get emotionally involved in it, and you move. If you're listening to this and thinking, I want to go deeper, I want to apply this to my life and my leadership journey, then I invite you to reach out. I've been inviting you to reach out. Successappointment.com gets you my calendar. Not a sales page, a calendar. Opens up in your time zone. Reach out. Schedule some time. Act. Make a decision. Successappointment.com. Want to email me directly? That's fine too. Stephen, Stephen, at successocean.com. As a Proctor Gallagher consultant and a certified facilitator with Leadership Management International, I specialize in helping individuals and organizations apply this exact material for maximum impact. Maximum impact. And it's proven, and it works, and it gets result, and it has helped hundreds of thousands of people all over the globe, both personally and professionally. Whether you want to break through a limiting paradigm, clarify your C-type goal for yourself, for your organization, for your ministry, transform your leadership presence, or just finally step into the life you were born to live that you would love to live, I would love to talk with you. You can connect with me again through Stephen at successocean.com or successappointment.com. You can message me on social media. I am all over the place. Or you can schedule a call with me, or on the genesisfrequency.com. There's plenty of places to reach out. The door is open. Your next level is waiting for you. Bob Proctor once said, the only limits in our life are those we impose on ourselves. So I'll leave you with this. You were born rich. You were born for greatness. You have the power within you to become, to create, and to lead in ways that bless your life and the lives of others. Now is your time. Now is your time. Now is your time. Today, you rise. So take a breath, get clear, reach out, and let's begin. All right. Until next time, you have been listening to the Genesis Frequency Podcast, and this is Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna, wishing you an infinitely spectacular day and reminding you, you have everything you need to live the life you would love to live. Let's go for it. God bless you.